These things have I spoken to you, that my joy may remain in you, and that your joy may be full. John 15:11. Good morning.
Good morning.
We're so glad you're here with us. I'm LuAnna Klote, Associate Minister. Will you please bow your head and join me for the invocation? Mother, Father, God, great Creator of all, most Holy One, we invoke your holy presence today, that you fill us and surround us with your blessed Holy Spirit. Be with us and all those affected by Hurricane Ian today and always, allowing your grace and presence to move within us and through us as we lift our heart, body, mind, and spirit. We are thankful for the opportunity to come together with open hearts and open minds, ready to accept healing guidance of our spirits, guides, teachers, family, and loved ones in spirit, that we be filled with clarity, understanding, peace, and love as we fellowship with you today. Please join me in the Lord's Prayer as taught to us by Jesus the Christed One. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. And now for our sermon song, Picture of Jesus. There is no greater gift you can give or receive to honor your calling. That's why you were born and how you become most truly alive. Oprah Winfrey. What Oprah is talking about with our calling, she is speaking of our purpose in life. Having a purpose in life means to design a set of goals for ourselves and work towards it. Life will be directionless if we don't have any aims and objectives. It will be like living just for the sake of it. An ideal life is to set a target for ourselves, focus on it, and plan our life to achieve all of our dreams accordingly. Having an answer to every why in our lives is not important for us to have a meaningful life. Life is beautiful, and we should try to live a life king size. Making the most of life and living it to its full potential should be our purpose in life. Your purpose in life is your inner calling. It is your conviction and your mission statement in life. When we live our lives and follow our true path, we feel happy and content. Purpose of life has many facets. There's a true purpose of life we choose that has passion, interest, positiveness, and helps us and others. Then there are the wishes that come into play. When I say wishes, these are the things we think we want that may not be obtainable. For example, a 4-foot man will not be able to play on an NFL football team as he would be fodder for the other team. However, if he loves football that much, a related occupation or hobby will suffice as well. Having a purpose in life requires goals, work, sacrifices, as a true purpose does not generally get handed to us on a silver platter. A true purpose includes commitment, passion, a feel-good while doing it, a giving. And when I say giving, this is not the type of giving that feels like it's expected. Rather, it's a giving of the heart, a genuine feeling that feels good to the person giving and the person receiving. To keep the energy of the universe in motion, both giving and receiving are needed. At different times in our lives, we may have different purposes. The way we feel and the way we act at age 20 versus 40 versus 70 is quite different from each other. A purpose in life gives us a reason to get up in the morning, a goal to pursue, a journey that's purposeful, and it's one of the most important things that we can have. What are ways that we can look at our life purpose? This morning, I'm going to talk about meaningless goals, self-worth, and a passion for our life purpose. First is meaningless goals. Miles Monroe tells us the greatest tragedy in life is not death, but life without a purpose. A life without purpose is like going on a cross-country trip without maps or a GPS. How would we know when we get there? Setting a goal based on our life purpose is a surefire way to get there the easiest. Yes, there will be those opportunities along the way, but if we think of these as learning lessons versus obstacles, we have a better and clearer path of how to proceed now and in the future. Besides, if we don't have a life purpose we have defined, we have no goals and are aimlessly moving who knows where. We can set goals, but if they don't have a meaning connected with a life purpose, they can be meaningless. I have a meaningless goal story that illustrates this concept. And if you happen to have lived in the country like I did, you'll probably recognize this little character in this story. A farmer had a dog who used to wait by the roadside for vehicles to come. As soon as one came, he would run down the road barking and trying to overtake the car. Yeah, we had dogs like that in the country. One day, the farmer's neighbor asked the farmer, "Do you think the dog is ever going to overtake those vehicles?" The farmer replied, "Well, that's not what bothers me. What bothers me is what he would do if he ever caught one." Many people in life behave like that dog who is pursuing meaningless goals. Moving from meaningless goals, we are now going to look at our self-worth. Your life has a purpose. Your story is important. Your dreams count. Your voice matters. You were born to make an impact. Even though oftentimes we may think we're not important, we are indeed important, being a precious child of God, each unique in our own way, learning our own way and teaching others, even though we may not know it. And sometimes our teaching can be how not to do it too. Mary Kay Ash, founder of Mary Kay Cosmetics, shares with us, we must have a theme, a goal, a purpose in our lives. If you don't know where you're aiming, you don't have a goal. Mary Kay, when working for Stanley Home Products, was frustrated when she was passed over for a promotion in favor of a man she had trained. After working there 24 years, she retired in 1963. She intended to write a book to assist women in business that turned into a business plan for her ideal company. She had challenges along the way, big challenges, but she continued with her business plan that was her life purpose that turned into a billion-dollar company. I'm going to share with you a story about an old carpenter that shows what can happen when we've lost our purpose in life. A carpenter with years of experience was ready to retire. He communicated with his contractor about his plans to leave the house building business to live a more leisurely life with his wife and family. The contractor felt a little upset that his excellent and experienced carpenter was leaving the job, but he requested the carpenter to build just one more house for him. The carpenter agreed with the contractor, but his heart was not in his work like it used to be. He resorted to shoddy craftsmanship and used inferior materials for building this last house of his career. It was an unfortunate way to end his career. When the carpenter completed the house, the employer came to inspect the home. He looked around the house, and just before he exited the house, he handed the front door key to the carpenter. "This is your house," he said, "my gift to you." This was a massive surprise to the carpenter. Although it was supposed to be a good surprise, he wasn't feeling very good about it, as he felt deep shame within him. If he had only known he was building his own house, he would have done it all so differently. Now he had to live in a home that wasn't built that well. The moral of this story, like the carpenter, we build our houses in a distracted way, reacting rather than acting, willing to put up with less rather than the best. Give your best. Have a purpose. Your attitudes and the choices you make today will be in your life tomorrow. Build it wisely. Moving from meaningless goals and self-worth, next is our passion for our life purpose. Maybe you've been assigned this mountain to show others it can be moved. What I've noticed with my many turns around the sun, birthdays, is in the old days, if someone was diagnosed with cancer, it was generally a death sentence, with the majority of those diagnosed dying. I observe in today's world, people have met the challenge on how to overcome and oftentimes beat the odds with a diagnosis of cancer. Many years ago, one of my friends never claimed his serious diagnosis of cancer. Instead of saying, I have cancer, he would tell others the doctor had diagnosed him with cancer. In this way, he never claimed the disease. He's still alive and kicking today, being an artist of whom I totally admire, and he's recognized nationally. And he's got the best stories of all of his travels. Carlos Wallace shares with us, occupy your thoughts with purpose, and you will be so busy pursuing a meaningful future that there will be no time for doubt, chaos, and disappointment. I don't know about you, but my little me oftentimes wants to put me down. We often call this our ego. My master guide often tells me not to belittle myself. Busted again. And then, of course, there are those around us ready to tell us something can't be done. When we have our life purpose at hand, these doubts, chaos, and disappointments, they fall by the wayside. Terry Orlick declares, the heart of human excellence often begins to beat when you discover a pursuit that absorbs you, frees you, challenges you, or gives you a sense of meaning, joy, and passion. When creating our life purpose, it's important that we have passion, the drive that is freeing and joyful. When we are full of joy is when we are the best that we can be. On giving, the Buddha said, those who rejoice in seeing others observe the way will obtain great blessing. Shramana asked the Buddha, would this blessing be destroyed? The Buddha replied, it's like a lighted torch whose flame can be distributed to ever so many other torches which people bring along. And therewith they will cook food and dispel darkness, while the original torch itself remains burning ever the same. It is even so with the bliss of the way. And that's from Buddhism, Sutra of 42 sections. It's when we're giving, we reach our fullest potential. As mentioned before, this is not the giving that we are guilted into, but the giving from the heart that produces a feeling of joy, happiness, feel good. When working on my associate and ordination tracks and certifications, I was required to perform 70 hours of community service. I was told I could have a small number of those hours here at the USCL Church, but overall it needed to be outside in the community. Our next door neighbor volunteered at the SPCA down the street, and that always sounded great. However, my husband Paul, he wasn't really into this at all. His big fear was I was going to be bringing home dogs and cats. Well, I decided to volunteer anyway. I soon landed in the cat colony, socializing the cats and petting them, loving them. And this was the best bet for me. Even though it was me volunteering my working time, I felt truly blessed with the responses of my new little four-legged friends, the kitty cats. I would walk into the cat colony and ask of the cat, who wants some loving today? And usually there were anywhere from 5 to 10 cats that were all going meow, meow, meow. And I would listen for the one that sounded like it needed the most loving at that time, and it would be my first one, and then I keep in mind the others for the next 2 hours that I'd be there. When volunteering every week, I got to know many of them that were there for quite a time, and they became my favorites. But the bad thing about volunteering in an SPCA, sometimes they get adopted, and that's why they're there. But then me as a volunteer, I have to find new favorites, which I was always able to do. Surprisingly, there can be some drawbacks to volunteering at the cat colony at SPCA. One day, a kitty absolutely did not want to go back into her cage, and she was clinging onto my shirt so hard. There was a hole in it by the time I left. That's when I started wearing the SPCA short apron that came to here. And so if they scratched, they scratched the apron, not my clothes. And then it took me a while to learn the kitty cat language, which I'm sure Penny and Rick both know real well. There's a point in time where Kitty has had enough. And if you don't stop at that time, you easily get scratched. It can bring blood. And so I became more and more receptive. Some of them were sneaky. It wasn't as easy to read. Each time I walked into the SPCA, it was like a new experience. Looking forward to sharing my love with the cats and then responding likewise. It was exhilarating when I could see the progress that a cat had made over time, me helping it get better and more socialized. And then this in turn, it made it much more adoptable for people that came in too. Overall, I look back on my 100 hours of volunteering at the SPCA, a special time in my life, with much appreciation from the cats and the SPCA staff. I definitely experienced a feeling of joy, happiness, and feel good. Next, I have a balloon story that shows giving helps all those around and brings happiness, and at the same time gives us a feeling of accomplishment. Suddenly, the speaker stopped and started giving each person a balloon. Each one was asked to write his or her name on it with a marker pen. Then all the balloons were collected and taken to another room. Now these delegates were let in that room and asked to find the balloon, which had their name written on it, within 5 minutes. Everyone was frantically searching for their name, pushing, colliding with each other, and there was utter chaos. At the end of the 5 minutes, nobody had their balloon. Now, each person was asked to randomly collect a balloon and give it to the person whose name was written on it. Within minutes, everyone had their own balloons. The speaker then shared, "This is exactly what's happening in our lives. Everyone is frantically looking for happiness all around, not knowing where it is. Our happiness lies in the happiness of other people. Give them their happiness and you'll get your happiness. And this is the purpose of life." In summary, having a purpose in life means to design a set of goals for ourselves and work towards it. Your purpose of life is your inner calling. Your life has a purpose. Your story is important and your dreams count. Your voice matters. You were born to make an impact. Carlos Wallace shares with us, "Occupy your thoughts with purpose and you will be so busy pursuing a meaningful future, there will be no time for doubt, chaos, and disappointment." For this upcoming week, I have a call of action for us. Think about a life purpose. What is your theme, goal, your life purpose? What excites you, gives you meaning, passion, freedom, and joy? It's okay to start small and build on it. Blessings. Thank you. And now for our meditation. And could I have some music, please? As you get into a comfortable position, uncrossing your legs, putting your feet flat on the floor, uncrossing your arms and closing your eyes. Take a slow, deep breath. Now, slowly exhale any worries or anxieties you may have. Take another slow, deep breath, filling your lungs with pure, fresh, clean air. Slowly exhale, releasing any stresses and tensions you may have. Just breathe slowly, filling your lungs. Imagine that miraculous oxygen moving through every part of your body. This is life. Your gift, your life. Before you is a path by a slow, meandering stream, lazily making its way. Fall is in the air. The air is crisp, bringing in the wonderful memories of fall, harvest, apples, pumpkin pie, apple cider, and roasting marshmallows. As the wise old trees around you are grounding you, balancing you, they are slowly releasing their bright, vibrant autumn leaves of crimson, gold, and rust. As you look at the stream, you see leaves floating on top, moving with the flow of the water ever so slowly. It's so relaxing to watch the leaves in their slow, gentle journey. A waterfall is glistening in the bright, warm sunlight. The droplets are sparkling, reflecting the brightness of the sun. Watching the waterfall is relaxing, bringing you into the focus of all the beauty around. Song sparrows, robins, cardinals, and finches are singing to you because you are special. You are loved. Above you is a little squirrel with a huge black walnut in its mouth, happy with his treasure. As you continue down the path, you hear giggling and laughing. In a clearing, you see two small children, around 5 or 6 years old. As you look closer, you recognize one. It is you. Before you can enter the space, a trouble tree is nearby, asking for all your worries, troubles, anxieties, anything that is bothering you, throwing you off balance. You gladly give this trouble tree everything that's bothering you. You let go. Feeling much lighter, you enter the space and realize you are now your 6-year-old. Nearby is your best friend at this age, or your joy guide. A swing set is nearby. As both of you get into seats, you begin to swing. What a freeing feeling, being up in the air, looking around, feeling the air in your face, your hair, swinging forward, swinging backward. As you swing higher, you can see in the future. This is freeing you from all cares. Your future is bright. It is fun and joyful. Good times are ahead. You have come out of learning lessons. It is now time to pat yourself on the back and realize you made it through. Your little friend reminds you that the present is a present, to turn loose of the past and turn loose of the future, for the present is where the action is, the happiness, the joyfulness. The swinging is freeing, exhilarating, full of joy. After experiencing the happiness of the swing, you both see an area of sand nearby where you decide to explore. The sand has treasures, a ring, a toy, a picture that was precious to you in your childhood. This brings back fond memories of all the good times, the positive times when you were small, before being programmed by the world to look at the not so good side of things. You now realize you have a choice to look at the bright side or the dull side. You choose the bright side that connects you with your childhood, the good times ahead, the divine source. Your little friend tells you it is time to come back to the here and now. Before leaving, your young friend wants you to affirm, I am free. I am balanced. I am marvelous. I am beautiful. I am love. I am joy. You have become much lighter and joyful with your young experiences and owning these affirmations, bringing peace and happiness with you. You feel balanced, calm, grounded, and joyful. You can now shift into the here and now in your own time, at your own pace. Come back gently. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Open your eyes to a new, peaceful, calm, fresh world. Welcome back. Everybody back?